Cloudy skies in Miami above, but in Marlins Park, the roof is shut. Fans coming in. The team shop still doing a nice, brisk business. It is a Wednesday showdown brought to you by Kendall Toyota, West Kendall Toyota. All the crew working hard, even Julio working hard. As the Fish and the Brewers, a little rookie hazing going on out there in the bullpen. Game 3 of a 4-game series. The two teams have split the first two. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. In the last month of the season, obviously the Marlins are looking at some of the youngsters, some of the players that are just up for the minor leagues, and some players that are getting a chance to play on a regular basis for the first time. They're also, Tommy, getting a chance to see teams that are desperate in terms of postseason hopes. The Brewers are one of those teams. They're on the periphery of the race. If the Marlins win these next 2 ball games, you can probably forget about it.
I've always thought this time of year, Rich, when you play clubs that are in it, Milwaukee's still in it, the Marlins will see Cincinnati, certainly Washington, and I think even Philadelphia, they're trying to get back to 500. It keeps you going. You know, you have to have some incentives, some things to motivate you if they're not personal goals, then just team-wise.
And that's when you want to measure a young player or a player getting his first taste of the big leagues, is against a team like that. And Nathan Eovaldi certainly qualifies as one of those guys, and the Brewers would qualify as one of those teams.
Yeah, I think it's one thing if you have young pitchers pitching against teams that aren't in it. But Eovaldi, last time out, against the Mets, but the Mets have been playing pretty good. They've taken a little turn the other direction in the second half. But Eovaldi in 7 innings, his only mistake was that 2-run shot, the 2-run homer he gave up to Ike Davis in the 7th inning. But I love the way he pitched. He walked just one. He had 1 strikeout. He pitch to contact. Well, tonight he's going to face Willie Peralta, 23-year-old, has only pitched 1 inning in the major leagues. This is his first major league start. By the way, Eovaldi pitched against the Brewers back on May 29th when he was with the Dodgers and gave up just 2 runs.
So with Eovaldi and Peralta, there's no knowing where this one is headed. What a debut last night for A.J. Ramos. If you missed it, we'll show it to you and talk about it when we return. Miami, let's start things out in center field. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Gentlemen.
Rich, not an exciting game for the Marlins last night. In the end, 8-4 loss. But there were a lot of people talking about the ninth inning from the Marlins' perspective, Niner.
Yeah, A.J. Ramos got called up recently from the Double-A. Jacksonville Suns has put on an amazing performance down there. 68 innings, struck out 89 batters in his career as a minor league closer. Has well over 80 saves. So he did something that no other Marlin pitcher has ever done in his major league debut.
Yeah, he had to earn it, too. He faced 2, 3, and 4 in that tough Brewer lineup. Ricky Weeks, Ryan Braun, and Aramis Ramirez.
And what happened? Oh, strike 1, you're out. Strike 2, you're out. Strike 3, you're out. And 3 strikeouts, 3 consecutive strikeouts.
No Marlin had ever done that in his debut at a great moment. Rookie debut. You want to save that baseball? Hang on. The first strikeout, Brantley forgot about it. They threw it around. The second strikeout, then they had that ball. And then here's what happened after that, because this is history now. You strike out all 3. What happened to that last strikeout ball?
You see Brantley. You know, Brantley's a rookie, too, so he doesn't know what's going on. He throws it up in the stands. The little kid out there really wants the baseball. Look at the dugout. No. We need that back, please.
Brantley doesn't really. You see the ball there on the left? Now the kid holding it for ransom there. And actually he was, okay, I'll change it with you.
He gives it back to Brantley. Brantley gives him a brand new baseball. Everybody's happy.
We just happen to have a camera rolling there. We looked back through it after reading the story. We were able to find it. Great job by the crew there, led by John Sulser there, finding that shot. And the guys had a little fun with it in a moment there where they like to be cheering about the game. Maybe they'll do that tonight.
Hopefully they'll be doing that tonight.
All right, we'll see you for the postgame, everybody. Right now it's time for Nathan Eovaldi to take the mound against Willie Peralta. The rookie makes his Major League starting debut for Milwaukee. Rich and Tommy to detail it for you next.
Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Papa John's. Right now at Papa John's, buy any large pizza, even specialties, for only $12. And by Sagicor. Plan a bright financial future today at SagicorLifeUSA.com. Kendall Toyota, West Kendall Toyota, Wednesday night showdown. Milwaukee and Miami. This would be Ron Renick's lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers, who are 3 under 500 at 66 and 69. Norichika Aoki has been impressive in this series and impressive this year. He's having a great rookie season, a 30-year-old from Japan. Ricky Weeks at second. Ryan Braun leading in homers and RBIs in left. Aramis Ramirez leading in doubles in the National League. Corey Hart behind him. Martin Maldonado gets a start behind the plate. Carlos Gomez covers a lot of ground in center. Gene Segura is at shortstop. And Willie Peralta will hit ninth. And here is Nathan Eovaldi.
You know, Rich, one of the things you really like to see, not only in any pitcher, but a young pitcher, Nathan, 22 years old, is consistency. So you'd love to see him build on his last outing against the Mets. Yes, he lost 3-0 to R.A. Dickey, but he went 7 innings, gave up just 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 of those runs, a 2-run homer by Ike Davis, but he had just 1 walk. He was very consistent with his delivery throughout. Look at the defense, brought to you by Cleveland Clinic with Peterson, Ruggiano, and Stanton in the outfield. Ruggiano moves over to center. Murphy and Reyes, Solano and Lee, and the veteran John Buck is behind the plate handling Nathan Eovaldi.
And he'll try to get Norichika Aoki out. Aoki last night had some big hits, a 2-run homer, a double in that 2-run 7th. First-year player, a 30-year-old from Japan. Pinch a penny brings you the first pitch. And Eovaldi delivers a letter-high fastball for a strike at 95 miles an hour. Aoki, very solid rookie season. In that leadoff spot, his home run is 7th. He's got an 8-game hit streak. He's provided 26 doubles as well. A guy that was a standout player in Japan for the Yakult Swallows.
Here are the batting averages. Todd Frazier with Cincinnati.
Carlos Lee corrals that one and steps on the bag.
It was one of the things that Eovaldi did so well in that outing against the Mets. He didn't pile up a lot of strikeouts. He had just 1. He got a lot of quick outs, ground balls and fly balls.
Now Ricky Weeks. Told you at the outset of the telecast that Weeks and the Brewers are still hopeful. They've got a run left in them. In the wild card race, Milwaukee, 7.5 games back, tied with Arizona, but with Pittsburgh, Los Angeles, St. Louis, and Atlanta in front of them. Weeks back to the mound, and Eovaldi throws him out. As everybody in baseball learned, though, you never know. That was last year when 2 teams came roaring from way back.
Yeah, they did. There were some
St.
runs
Louis
last year.
And Tampa Bay. These are the wild card teams right now. Atlanta ahead of St. Louis, who's the number 2 team. You see the Dodgers closer in the wild card than they are in the West. Pittsburgh's 2 back. And then Arizona and Milwaukee back as well. Cardinals today lost to the Mets 6-2. And R.A. Dickey got the win. How about that? Ryan Braun takes a breaking ball for a strike. Braun, National League leader.
Excuse me, his 18th win of the season.
We were both trying to give plaudits at the same time. Me to Braun, you to Dickey.
Yeah, well, we just talked about Dickey pitching against Eovaldi.
Yeah,
the last time out.
Well, you know, you wonder if it's going to be an interesting Cy Young race. Johnny Cueto has been so good for Cincinnati. Gio Gonzalez, outstanding. Lee has it, flips, Eovaldi's there, and Nathan Eovaldi in 8 pitches goes right through the Brewers' order. 3 4-game series. It concludes tomorrow at 12:40. This one, though, will have the Marlins hitting in this orderly fashion. Brian Peterson leading off, Donovan Solano at second, Jose Reyes at short, Giancarlo Stanton, who homered last night in right field. Carlos Lee behind him. Justin Ruggiano sets up in center field in the 6th spot. John Buck hits 7th. Donnie Murphy hitting 8th. And Nathan Eovaldi hits 9th.
All right, you try to watch Willie Peralta, see what he throws, when he uses certain pitches. He has a live arm, and this is only his second appearance as a major leaguer. He pitched 1 inning out of the bullpen. He was a starter in AAA Nashville. And interesting down there, he threw only 100 pitches 5 times in his 27 starts. So you don't expect him to go more than 5 or 6 innings.
Peralta rears back and fires a fastball at 95 to Brian Peterson. The count 1-0. Peterson getting the start in left and leading off. You got Solano and Reyes right behind. The start of the year, Peralta was rated as the #1 prospect in the Brewers organization. A guy that when he was 16 and went to the tryout camp to be scouted by the Brewers was an outfielder. Lined into center field. Peterson with a solid hit. Gomez picks it up. Peterson is aboard.
Well, we'll tell you what little we know about Willie Peralta, the 23-year-old out of the Dominican. Electric arm. Scouting report brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. A good sinker, and as most pitchers, it seems like somewhere down the road they had Tommy John surgery, which he did in 2007. You and I had a nice conversation with Rick Kranitz yesterday, talking to him about Willie Peralta. Kranitz, the pitching coach with the Brewers.
Yeah, I think Kranitz and the rest of the Brewers is happy to get him into the role that he's used to, and that's a starter. That bunt is going to roll just foul before Maldonado sweeps it away. Nice effort by Donovan Solano. And the count 0-1. Solano in the 2 spot. Donovan, while others are getting their first taste and a chance to prove things here in September, Solano was thrown into that fire mid-season and proved that he belonged in the big leagues in June, July, August, and now here into September. One fastball. Peralta got in on him, and he's going to get the out at first. Peterson moves up to second. So an out. Here comes Reyes, and here comes the Brewers defense.
And we'll check it out. Brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida, with Braun, Gomez, and Aoki in the outfield. Ramirez and Segura, they've kind of flip-flopped shortstops in this series. Weeks and Corey Hart, and no Jonathan Lucroy tonight. Martin Maldonado behind the plate.
Here's Reyes now. Reyes talked about his goal of hitting 300 by the time the season is up. He's got a ways to go. He's 19 points shy of that at 281. He is, however, on a nice little run in terms of stolen bases. All of a sudden that has perked up, and Reyes is all alone in second in the National League. He is 4 behind Michael Bourne of Atlanta. So Reyes is within, what do you say for stolen bases? Sprinting distance of leading the National League. And
yeah, you can't say he's within earshot.
No. Or shooting distance either. He's going to have to try to run down Michael Bourne.
He's in foot distance.
Giancarlo Stanton's on deck. 2-0 to Reyes. Peterson at second. It happens often with players, and Peralta showing up at 16 in the Dominican as an outfield. That's what he was shopped as by the scouts or the Buscones, so to speak. And Brewers took one look at him throw and said, pitcher, and signed him for a good deal of money as a pitcher.
They may have looked at him one time swinging, too. You never know.
That may have figured into it. Here comes a 3-0. And Reyes takes one right down the middle. Angel Hernandez calling balls and strikes. Ed Hickox at first. Chris Conroy at second. Mark Carlson at third base. And this should be a pretty good pitch to hit for Jose Reyes. Fastball misses away, and Reyes takes his walk. Trots down to first. And here comes Stanton, who lived through about 5 or 6 days of swings and misses until last night.
Well, he was thinking middle of the field. A lot of guys can think middle of the field and not hit home runs, but it doesn't bother Giancarlo. 436, I believe, was the distance on that home run. Number 30 for Stanton on the year.
A lot of the Brewers were talking about the ball that Stanton hit, and a lot of them concluded he didn't get all of it. It didn't sound right off the bat, and yet it still went 436 feet. That went foul back and out of play. 97 miles an hour. You're right about the electric arm.
And you know what? Even in our conversation with Rick Kranitz told us he didn't know what he'd see, what to expect out of the young right-hander.
Well, you got a guy making his first major league start. As you noted, he has pitched 1 inning in the big leagues in relief. High chopper. Ramirez steps on the bag, and the throw to first is in time, and a 5-3 double play ends the inning. So Willie Peralta survives the first, and we're underway in Miami. Tonight brought to you by the fine folks at H.H. Gregg. Nighttime falling in Miami. Nathan Eovaldi on the mound. Coventry second. Scoreless ball game. Brewers and Marlins. Aramis Ramirez, Corey Hart, and Martin Maldonado. For the Brewers, Ramirez has had a very productive year. Driven in 89 runs. The 43 double still leads the National League. And talking to Ron Renicky before the ball game, I asked him if you could play the season over, what's the one thing you'd change? And he talked about the bullpen. Ramirez lines it into left center field. And as you pointed out, Tommy, the Brewers don't lack for offense. They don't lack for scoring runs. They generally make the plays. They have had good starting pitching. But the back of the pen has been an issue. They lead the National League in blown saves.
And I think, too, if they had maybe a little more formidable starting rotation, but a solid offensive club. I was talking to Wade LeBlanc, who did a nice job last night, talking to him about this Brewers offense, and he was impressed.
I like the way he described the Brewers offense.
Yeah. He said it's kind of like an American League offense, which, of course, they used to be in the American League at one time.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. out to short. Reyes on to first in time to get Hart. Ramirez ends up at second base. And that'll bring up Martin Maldonado. Although, with that terminology, I'm always amused as we take a look at the play by Reyes first.
I think Reyes had a shot at second to get one. I actually thought that's where he was going. Obviously, he had to play at first base, too. And you have to make that decision as you go after the ball. But Jose gets over, makes that strong throw across his body.
We've heard that same term used over the last, 4 or 5 years about the Phillies lineup when they were really rolling, that it was like an American League lineup. The Reds, have heard that about the Reds lineup. They're like an American League lineup. Arizona, when they were going great guns, which always made me stop and think, I wonder if in the American League teams like Seattle that can't score, do they say, oh, they're built like a National League team?
Kansas City over the years. I think when you think American League lineup, you think a lineup throughout as well. Obviously, in the National League, you can't have a number 9 hitter. You can have your pitcher. But I think you think of a lineup that has depth, that you're still getting some production in the 7th and 8th spot.
There are American League teams that play a National League fashion. The Rays, of course, come to mind. Maybe not this or last year's Twins team, but Twins teams under Ron Gardenhire in the past.
Especially when they were at the Metrodome on the turf.
Maldonado with a swing and a miss. And it counts 2-1. Ramirez, the runner at second. You got Maldonado, then Carlos Gomez. That's right, the Brewers were an American League team, got to the World Series, the All Suds Series, Milwaukee and St. Louis. Liner, and Reyes picked it before it got to the dirt. So it's a catch. Ramirez remains at second base. And there are 2 outs. And we remind you that the next Coors Light watch party is coming up on Monday the 10th. Hooters of Bayside. The Marlins and the Phillies at 7:05. Win prizes. Meet Billy, the energy team. You can tweet and text Tommy and I throughout the game. Great food and Coors Light specials throughout at Hooters of Bayside. And we'll put your picture on television. How about that? Here's Carlos Gomez.
You know, Nathan Eovaldi's first start this year after being called up by the Dodgers was against Milwaukee back on May 29th. And he pitched very well. 7 innings, gave up just 2 runs.
And you talked about the Dickey start. Eovaldi was very good. He gave up the home run to Ike Davis in the 7th inning. Dickey, as we pointed out today, won his 18th game. Gio Gonzalez is pitching for Washington. And the Nationals have just given him a 1-0 lead. His opponent is Chris Volstad and the Cubs.
Gio going for number 18.
Yes, so
I mean, you know, all of a sudden he's putting his name in the picture. He doesn't have the credentials that R.A. Dickey has. I don't think he has the credentials that Johnny Cueto has. But he's going to be in the conversation just because he's from Miami.
That's right. He's the pride of Hialeah.
Oh, nice pitch.
Eovaldi strikes out Gomez, and the Brewers are done in the 2nd. Scoreless game here in Miami tonight.
en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
Scoreless ballgame, bottom of the second. Brewers and Marlins. Nathan Eovaldi's looked sharp. Willie Peralta got a double play ball to get out of the first. And he gets Carlos Lee, Justin Ruggiano, and John Buck here tonight on a Wednesday night. This is Game 3. Tomorrow, the two teams play at 12:40. No television tomorrow, so tune in on the Marlins Radio Network. If you're a subscriber to MLB.TV, Peralta throws a fastball. Lee rolls it on the ground, Weeks to his left, and he throws him out. Brian Anderson and Bill Schroeder will have the call on Milwaukee television, two of the very best in the business. So if you're jonesing to watch it on video, you can see it on MLB.TV. There they are. Schroeder, former big league catcher. Brian Anderson.
And Brian Anderson you'll see on TBS during postseason, working with another good buddy of ours, Joe Simpson.
That's right. Ruggiano now. You saw in that last graphic the numbers that Ruggiano has put up. The one thing that I think jumps out at me is this is just his 77th game. Smokes that ball to the left. Braun is over there, and he makes the catch. And the numbers he's put up in 76 games, 18 doubles, 13 homers, 325 average.
Which, in essence, is a half a season. You kind of look at it that way. And I think you want to see him continue. Everybody's on the Justin Ruggiano bandwagon, and I think he certainly deserves to be on this club next year, but you really don't know what he would do over a full season.
But he would love to show you.
He would love to get the opportunity, yes.
John Buck right now with a count 0-1.
I think John Buck would just like this season to start all over again.
A mulligan.
Yeah.
Marlins young catcher Rob Brantley has had a nice homestand. Buck has been very gracious with his time and counsel with the young catcher. Breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-2.
You know, you think of John Buck and you say, well, is he going to give you the 2010 All-Star season he gave the Blue Jays? 20 home runs, hit 281? Probably not. But he certainly can give you what he gave the ball club last year. Maybe around 230, 240, 16 home runs he had last year.
Counts 1-2. Rob Brantley. Tommy had that story on Marlins Live, and then Craig and Jeff Conine, the video.
That was funny.
Of Brantley tossing A.J. Ramos's baseball that he struck guys out on. Struck 3 out last night. Tossed it into the seats, not realizing, but it's a rookie mistake. He's in his, third week in the big leagues? And then he had to ask the kid for the ball back. Hey, kid.
Hey, come on, that's an important ball. I need that back.
To right. Aoki towards the line is there, and he makes the catch. Willie Peralta has settled down. We've got ourselves a scoreless ball game. To the third we go.
Rich, I'm with the guy who is a great Brewer fan who has watched every game in person for the Brewers, and he's not paid like some of us to watch these teams. Ben Rouse is also a terrific endeavor behind this, too, a leukemia survivor. But first, let's talk about the baseball part. That's a lot of games to be traveling all over the place.
Yeah, in 2006, I went to 43 games that summer, and I think about that time is when I thought, maybe I can go to all 162 games sometime in the future, but I figured, that's something you do when you retire or you win the lottery. So I kind of put that on the back burner.
And then all of a sudden, here he is. He got the chance to throw out the first pitch tonight. That's always a thrill. Have you done it at any of the other parks you've been to?
I have not. That was the first time. Did a little warming up last week, and I'll be throwing one out at Miller Park at the end of the season.
How'd it go tonight?
It was good. It was high and outside, but I brought the heat a little bit.
Hi, geez. Hey, you're from the Milwaukee area, of course. You battled leukemia. You won your courageous battle, and you have a program called Be the Match.
Yeah, so in 2009, I got a double umbilical cord stem cell transplant, which does the same thing as a bone marrow transplant. And I'm raising awareness for Be the Match, which is the National Bone Marrow Donor Registry. People can go to the website, bethematch.org. There's a Join the Registry link. You can type in your zip code, see if there's an upcoming drive nearby. You just have to be between 18 and 60. There's actually a drive here at Marlins Park on September 22nd. And all it takes is a Q-tip. They get a cheek swab with some saliva, fill out your contact information, and you're in the registry.
And the idea is you could potentially be a match for someone else?
Yes, so you have to be between 18 and 60, and then maybe 5 years, 10 years down the road, they could contact you if you're a potential match. You might do some blood work to make sure you're a perfect match, and then you would go from there.
In your case, Ben, there were high odds against you because there wasn't a match?
Yeah, so a sibling has the best chance of being a match. Neither of my sisters were matches, so I had about a 50% chance of that. They weren't matches. There were 16 million people in the worldwide registry. Not a single perfect match for me, so that's what precipitated the stem cell transplant.
Glad it all worked out. BeTheMatch.org, right?
Yep, and if you want to follow along, I also have a blog, which is brewersmission162.mlblogs.com. There's an About Me page where you can read about my story and why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Been to all these parks. How about Marlins Park?
It is a beautiful park. The air conditioning actually gets cold at some times, especially when you're underneath these vents here, but it's definitely a great park to watch a baseball game.
You don't have to worry about that in Milwaukee, the air conditioning.
Yeah, they actually don't have air conditioning. But it's been hot this year. There was a couple of games.
The Marlins were there.
It was like 105, one of those games.
Well, all right, Ben, thanks a lot for your time. We appreciate it. Good going on getting the word out.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, and Richard Tommy, you know better than most of us how hot it was in Milwaukee when the Marlins played there. Take it away.
Yeah, it was those two dates of the four-game series. Two of them were the hottest dates in Milwaukee history.
That road trip was a hot road trip because I think we went on to St. Louis.
Set two records for heat in St. Louis. Norichika Aoki at the plate.
Not many shirts and ties on that trip. A lot of golf shirts and Tommy Bahamas.
And it was hotter. Temperature-wise, it was hotter in St. Louis, but it felt a lot hotter in Milwaukee. And I think because you were in a partially enclosed ballpark. Ground ball in the hole. Reyes knows he's got to get rid of it, and there's no way he's going to get Aoki, who really has been a terrific sign for the Milwaukee Brewers. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Doug Melvin, the bright general manager, vice president for the Brewers, guy that went out and signed Aoki. Ron Renicky, as manager tonight, said that what has been a pleasant surprise is the pop that he has had at the plate. Always a very good hitter, actually a great hitter in Japan, but to get 7 home runs and 26 doubles, as well as an average of 290, that's a nice sign.
Well, he's hit over 400 against the Marlins this year. Has a 9-game hitting streak now, too, with that infield single. And be alive, he has 22 steals.
Eovaldi misses low and inside.
I think the one thing, if you look at some of the Asian players and you have, and not that they're all easy to sign, sometimes the posting fee is way too high, but if you have a specific need you can pick a player from Japan, and sometimes you can fill that need because you're getting someone who's had a lot of professional experience at the Japanese big league level.
And Aoki's posting fee was a relatively economical $2.5 million. I mean, the marquee guys can really get up there.
40, 50 million.
Yu Darvish was in the 50 million range. The 1-1 to Weeks. And it misses in. And Aoki won the batting title 3 times over in Japan. Had double-digit home runs. A Gold Glover as well. And we told you, a terrific performer in the World Baseball Classic.
I think they call it the Golden Glove over there. The Golden Glove Award. Not to be confused with the Golden Globe Award. But a solid player, very smart. You watch him play the outfield, watch him run the bases.
Eovaldi takes a peek over. Not running. And a fastball for a strike. It's 2-2.
So far, so good for Nathan Eovaldi. Has had good rhythm out there, good control.
Check swing. Looks like he went around. But Ed Hickok said no. Here's a look.
Wow. That's usually called. This is the first 3-ball count that Eovaldi's gotten to.
That's a check swing that Dan Uggla uses to his advantage. He kind of, when he checks the swing, the bat goes up instead of out, and oftentimes he won't get called for it. Well, Aoki will be on the move. Eovaldi to the plate. Weeks hammers one. Left field. Deep. Peterson looks up. That ball is gone. Way gone. It slams against the wall just below the Budweiser bar. Ricky Weeks has hit his 15th of the season.
Well, Ricky Weeks in his career has been just a tremendous fastball hitter. He got himself in a good fastball count. He knew 3-2 the situation in the game. He was going to get it. Eovaldi would have liked to kept it in a little bit more and probably down. But once he got it in that area, Ricky Weeks absolutely smoked that ball.
Milwaukee hit 2 home runs in last night's ball game. They homered on Monday as well. And they've hit more home runs than anybody in the National League. Braun gets jammed, dumps it center field. Solano got a good jump, and he runs it down. But a 2-out single by Aoki and a 2-run blast by Ricky Weeks. And the Brewers lead at 2-0. One out. In the bottom of the third, the Marlins go back to work against Willie Peralta. Family Sunday coming up on the 16th. Marlins and Reds at 1:10. Arrive early for Snapshot Sunday. Kids get an Emilio Bonifacio jersey wallet, courtesy of Fox Sports Florida, and can run the bases after the game in the Diamond Dash. It's a much better read of that drop-in tonight than last night. I got caught up between Emilio Bonifacio jersey and then wallet.
So it's a jersey wallet.
Right, because I was expecting jersey, and then the wallet came in behind it.
Well, you always handled the curveball pretty well. You got the off-speed pitch.
Emergency swing,
yeah.
Just stay in the at-bat.
You fouled it off, you stayed in there.
Donnie Murphy, Nathan Eovaldi, Brian Peterson. Willie Peralta's first big league start, the 23-year-old Dominican. This is down low. Peralta looking around Marlins Park. Brewers rotation projects to be a younger rotation next year. Obviously, a big subtraction. Zach Greinke, Sean Markham is a free agent. And so they're hopeful that a guy like Peralta can continue his progress and be a part of that rotation. Swing and a miss. Of course, they can always sign Roger Clemens if they want to get older.
I think he has another start coming up with the Skeeters.
Tonight, it's his second Skeeters start.
How about his battery mate?
That's the hook. His 25-year-old son was released by the Blue Jays organization. He's a catcher. Was in Double-A this year and immediately signed with the Skeeters, and apparently is going to catch him tonight.
You're talking about Zach Greinke. He won his fourth game last night with the Angels. 4-2 with the Angels so far.
Eovaldi bounces out to Weeks. And here comes Brian Peterson.
So far, Brian Peterson's had the best swing of any of the Marlins with his line drive base hit, first time up.
Peralta misses in, and it's 1-0. Yeah, the Phillies beating the Reds 6-2. Marlins, of course, will see the Phillies on this upcoming road trip. First to stop in D.C. I think Steven Strasburg is lined up to start.
He's lined up to start Friday night, which will be his second to last start, but I think it's his last start in Washington. His final start is against the Mets, and I believe it's at Citi Field in New York.
Peralta has thrown 2 strikes that have been called balls. Both pitches on the black, neither a strike. And so he splits the plate and gets the call. It's 3-1. Roy Halladay with the win, and he improves to 9-7. Hart makes a nice play, very athletic player. He was good in right field, and he's turned out to be pretty darn good at first base as well. Discussing the Ricky Weeks home run. That you see the one
Came close to the pool.
describing just how close it did come.
Said he got a 3-2 fastball, was up a little bit.
The 3-1 pitch, which he took, may have been a better pitch to hit, she said. Here's Aramis Ramirez. Look out of the pool. It's foul. Nice play. Look at that. Now that's excitement. He's been coming to games his entire life. He's got the biggest glove allowable. That's the glove that Billy uses to catch first pitches with.
Look at that.
Look at the size of that thing.
I think he stayed focused. He used that sign. I've been focused for a long time to get this foul ball.
Ball and a strike. Aramis Ramirez leading it off in the fourth. And Eovaldi with a good sharp breaking ball for a strike. Cholula hot sauce spotlight player out of the Dominican Republic. A Blue Jay fan, George Bell. Now that guy could play. And he was signed by the Pirates as a 16-year-old free agent. Then traded to the Cubs after a nice run in Pittsburgh. Now a Milwaukee Brewer. So he spent his entire career in the same division.
And this guy's been consistent. I mean, he's been a consistent fielder. He's hit over 300 6 times. Hit 25 or more home runs 9 times. But can't catch up to that Eovaldi fastball there.
So an out here in the fourth, and the AT&T trivia question is due right about now. As we flip the phone, Ryan Braun broke the University of Miami freshman RBI record, held by whom? I would go Pat Burrell.
How about let me throw a couple of names out before we go crazy. How about Jason Michaels?
That's a good one.
Aubrey Huff.
Those are two good ones.
And I'm not sure F.B. Santangelo had a big freshman year. We'll check with him in Washington.
Hart swings and misses, and the count's 1-1. Ricky Weeks' 2-run homer, the difference in this ball game. Eovaldi trying to even his record with the Marlins. He's 3-4 with Miami with a 5.03 ERA.
And as we've talked about, coming off probably his best outing, even though he took the loss against the Mets.
Three and two.
That's what he did so well that last time out. Fastballs, sliders, curveball. He got them all over.
He got early outs, too. He had just one strikeout in that game against the Mets. So he was pitching to contact. This is a deep at bat here. This is pitch number 7 coming up.
But he has to be careful. He doesn't want to throw that same 3-2 fastball he threw to Ricky Weeks.
Yeah, Corey Hart's got 26 home runs. And
good try. Threw the slider. He just missed with it. It was a patient take by Corey Hart.
Now he's got Martin Maldonado. Toyota trend this season, the Brewers have not occupied first place for one day. They've spent at least one day in first every year since 2004. And of course last year they won the Central. They won 96 games last year. That was a franchise record for wins in a season. They drew over 3 million, a record for a Milwaukee baseball attendance. They had the best record in baseball at home. They were 57-24. And they led the National League in home runs, just like they are leading right now. So in the air to right, Stanton, a long run, and it falls. Fair ball. Hart gets to second. Maldonado sends a flare to right. And Gomez comes up now with runners at first and second.
Every once in a while, and because of the spacious outfield, a little bit deeper, looked like Stanton got a decent jump, just couldn't catch up to that flare. It didn't have a lot of hang time. We talked about the Brewers. They've played really well this year at home. That seems to be a pattern, yet they've really struggled on the road. Milwaukee on the road this year, 25 wins, 41 losses.
I know they don't have Prince Fielder, but Aramis Ramirez has been very productive. And offensively, they're just about where they were last year. A guy like Carlos Gomez is having a better year this year than he had last year.
And when they realized they were going to be without Prince Fielder, I think that was a big concern of theirs. But, yeah, not too bad.
They were counting on John Axford having the same type of year that he had last year when he was 46 of 48.
They're right in the mix if he has that same kind of year.
Yes. Right now they're out of the mix. They're a ways out in the wild card.
Yeah, right now people in Milwaukee are thinking a little bit more about the Packers now.
Breaking ball for a strike, and I think that crossed John Buck up. If it did cross him up, he did a nice job of catching the pitch.
You know, the last time in that Met game, it was Rob Brantley who handled Eovaldi. So Buck and Eovaldi just trying to make sure with the runner at second, 2 men on, make sure that guy out at second base that got the right sequence of signs.
Tim Cousins and Rob Brantley. Cousins, the Marlins roving catching instructor, spent a lot of time with Brantley over the last month once the Marlins acquired him from the Tigers down in the minor leagues and then up here in the big leagues.
You always know Tim Cousins is in town. When you walk through the dugout into the clubhouse, you go by the batting cage area, and he's in there working with Brantley or one of the other catchers, working on some different drills.
Eovaldi steps back. Gomez was called out on strikes in the second. 1-2 breaking ball off the end of the bat into center field. Falls. Ruggiano has it. Hart is held at third. Lee cuts it off, and the bags are loaded with 1 out for the Brewers here in the 4th inning.
Well, a walk and 2 flares. The bloop by Maldonado. This one off the end of the bat by Gomez. And all of a sudden the Brewers have the bases loaded. It's in no man's land. Couldn't be caught up to by Ruggiano. He comes up with a strong throw. The runners had to kind of hold to make sure that ball dropped.
Randy St. Clair's on his way out to the mound. And the entire infield's going to join him. Obviously, Eovaldi looking for a ground ball here, a way to get out of this 4th without any damage. The Ricky Weeks 2-run homer in the 3rd. All the runs that have been scored in this ball game.
Boy, it doesn't take long. It hasn't lately anyway for the Nationals to score runs. All of a sudden in the 3rd inning, they got home runs from Bernardina, Bryce Harper, and that guy Adam LaRoche. So it's a 5-0 Nationals lead against the Cubs. And you pointed out all of that coming against Chris Volstad.
We touched on it last night. I think we both agreed on it when the Nationals were here. Adam LaRoche is the Nationals MVP.
He's in the National League MVP talks.
He doesn't have the gaudy numbers, but in terms of importance to that ball club, when Morse was out to start the season, Desmond went down.
Well,
Worth went down.
Got 90 RBIs. That was his 28th home run.
All right, he's in there. He's got the numbers too.
You got him in there now.
Yes, he's in there. I may have McCutchen and Posey.
He's in there with McCutchen and Posey.
Yeah,
okay.
Maybe he pulls even with Braun.
All right. Top 5.
There you go. A Brewer at every base. And rookie Gene Segura at the plate. Fouls it off. When the Brewers acquired Segura from the Angels, he had just made the conversion from second to short. He's still learning short. And that's not easy to do in the major leagues.
That's the one little out that Eovaldi has. He has a rookie up there, and then the pitcher's on deck. So the one chance he has to get out of this inning.
Segura didn't bite in the breaking ball. And it's 2-2. Before we even saw him, we were told he kind of looks like Juan Samuel. The 2-2.
They'll be pleased.
You played with Juan Samuel.
I played against him, never played with him, but yeah, they'll be pleased if they get a Juan Samuel out of Gene Segura.
That could hit.
Yeah, he could. He was one of those guys that give you triples, some home runs, some stolen bases.
Two coming. Up and in. Eovaldi's pitch count at 59 now. He's got one out in the 4th. Three-two. He fights it off. Milwaukee has loaded the bases after Eovaldi struck out Aramis Ramirez to open the inning. Walk to Hart, couple bloop hits from Maldonado and Gomez. Segura just keeps fighting off fastball after fastball.
Next pitch will be the 9th pitch. Have to wonder if maybe John Buck's talking to Eovaldi. How do you feel about maybe the slider, just a little get me over curveball? Because after seeing a few fastballs, I know he hasn't been around on him. He's been a little late on him. He may start to catch up with one.
Let's see what he goes with. Breaking ball, and Segura fights that one off. And now he's fought off a curveball. Count still 3-2. Infield still waiting on a ground ball. Fouls that one straight back. So this will be pitch number 11. Pitch at bat. Number 12 is next.
I would think it has to be one of the most frustrating things for a pitcher, because obviously Eovaldi is just trying to throw a strike. Doesn't matter where it is in the strike zone. He keeps doing that, yet Segura keeps fouling him off.
Crowd trying to get Eovaldi through it. Liner to right. Stanton coming in, makes the catch. Hart tags, goes halfway. Stanton throws a laser beam. And nobody scores. Hart started down the line, and then Stanton unleashed it.
Great footwork by Giancarlo. Watch him get his feet in position, moves back, and then comes in to get the ball. All the momentum going to the plate to come up with a great throw.
That has to feel like a major hurdle for Eovaldi to get Segura after that long at bat. And now he gets Peralta in just his second big league at bat.
He's been a lot more confident with that slider tonight. It's been a good pitch.
In his minor league career, he did hit a home run. Very late on the 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
32 pitches in this inning, but think of all the strikes. The last 7, 8, 9 pitches, the ones fouled off by Segura, have all been strikes.
Oh-2 breaking ball struck him out, and Eovaldi pitches out of the bases loaded, 1-out spot, and keeps it at 2-0 Milwaukee. Is brought to you by Kendall Toyota, West Kendall Toyota, bringing you tonight's Wednesday night showdown. By Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. And by Burger King, come play family food, where every game piece has a prize. Nathan Eovaldi keeps it at 2-0. Two-run homer by Ricky Weeks, the only 2 runs of the game. Miami has been unable to really get anything going against Willie Peralta. And in the 4th inning, a second time through for Donovan Solano, Jose Reyes, and Giancarlo Stanton. Here's the trivia answer. Ryan Braun broke the University of Miami freshman RBI record held by I threw out a Pat Burrell.
I'm going to go with Jason Michael. Pat Burrell, you are.
How come I didn't get the bell tonight? Okay. I've been told the reason I didn't get the bell was I got it on the first guess.
The crack staff wanted to give us time to throw out a few more names.
I apologize if I ruined trivia for anyone out there tonight. Solano. Knee-high strike. Scouting report also says Peralta is very good at holding runners, controlling the running game. Lit up the Cholula hot sauce flamethrower. 95 or above, Tommy, and that hot sauce comes flying out. The wooden cap stays attached.
I usually get that way if I put a little too much Cholula hot sauce on tacos.
Little chopper to third. Ramirez has had a terrific year defensively as well as offensively. He is leading National League third baseman in fielding percentage. He might just win his first Gold Glove this year.
Yeah, fielding percentage of .976, which is outstanding.
Now Reyes. Out in front. And behind in the count, 0-2. Brian Peterson single in the first. The only hit until that one. Reyes knocks one into center field. Tommy, correct me if I'm wrong, but for Reyes to hit 300, he's going to have to walk a little bit more these next 3 weeks.
And he's not a guy that walks a lot. But we have talked about his on-base percentage this year. A few ticks higher than his career average. He's probably around 346 on-base percentage. But yeah, it's tough to get to 300 if you don't walk a lot. And you saw a guy who didn't walk a lot, but he'd get 230 hits a year. Ichiro.
Yes.
That's how he'd do it.
Hartz gives it a good try, but couldn't come up with it. And obviously for Reyes, you walk, it doesn't affect your average, but for Reyes, that means he's going to see better pitches to hit, so his chances of getting hits increase. He did walk in the first. He's 1 for 1 in the ballgame. He's thinking about stealing second. On one pitch.
Giancarlo keeps climbing that home run list of players under the age of 23. Stanton has 86 career home runs. Next on the list, Johnny Bench, Ken Griffey Jr. with 87 as 22-year-olds.
If he has a big finish, he could get to Frank Robinson and maybe Alex Rodriguez. He is 9 shy of Rodriguez at 95, and that's 4th all-time. Mel Ott, Eddie Matthews, Tony Conigliaro. 1, 2, and 3 on that list. Stanton going to get a 2-1 pitch here. The two best are in the house at bats per home run.
Jay Bruce hit another one today for the Reds.
Stanton pulls that one foul.
Jay Bruce with 32 home runs. Look at the same guy with a glove. Did he get it?
He doesn't look as excited this time.
Yeah, it's old hat now.
Yeah,
it's no big deal.
And he gave it to his buddy. The first one he went absolutely nuts on. Fastball is up. So it's 3-2. You can see why the Brewers are high on Peralta. He has been living at 95 to 97 on his fastball. Miami has just a couple of hits against him, both singles. Full count, 1 out. Good chance that Reyes is on the move. Doesn't run, and Stanton fouls it back. Home run number 30, 436 feet to straightaway center last night. Reyes runs, another breaking ball, and Stanton fights that one off. Fiesta Suites have a nice group out there tonight.
That's a nice area. You have a group, a little party. Got a real unique angle. Feel like you're playing right field.
Another 3-2. Reyes motoring, swing and a miss. The throw from Maldonado is high, but Reyes is out. Weeks with an acrobatic catch and tag. Reyes flexing those hands. And a double play ends the 4th. Strike him out. Martin Maldonado threw him out. Last night was a long night. The game took 3.5 hours. There was also a 3-hour rain delay. Christian Yelich was 3 for 4. Jose Fernandez started 5 innings, 1 run. And they're back at it.
They have another rain delay tonight. Tonight they're in Port St. Lucie. Game time is supposed to be about 8:35. And then I'll throw in a little Marlins connection in what could be the final series. Over the other coast, Dunedin is in a best-of-3 series. And the winner of that will play the best-of-3, Jupiter and St. Lucie. Well, the manager of the Dunedin club is Mike Redmond. But he's getting a little help because we got a crack staff around the Florida State League that's phenomenal. He's getting a little help because Brett Laurie and J.P. Arancibia are down on rehab assignments helping him out.
How nice is that?
So if we ever talk to Red about that, we'll have to get on him a little bit.
Norichika bounces out. First out of the 5th for Nathan Eovaldi. And here's Weeks, who clobbered one off the wall and left. He took a hard spill on that Reyes tag. Weeks really hung in there with the throw up into the runner because he was being upended as he made the catch and then completed the tag. Of course, he did this, the clothesline cold hard blast.
Well, remember, 3-2 fastball. He jumps on it. Eovaldi would love to have a low pitch inning. First 3 innings, Nathan Eovaldi threw 35 pitches. Last inning, he threw 33. I think tonight we've seen more sliders from Nate and fewer curveballs, but he's had good success with the slider.
There's the fastball, and Weeks was trying to pump it out of here again. And inside corner, you can hear Weeks react on the call by Angel Hernandez. 2 outs. Here's Ryan Braun now.
Maybe leaning just a little. A lot of times that pitch inside looks worse than it is. It might have been off the plate a little, but pretty good pitch. Yeah, it was off a little bit. And Ricky had a beef.
Eovaldi gets a strike to Ryan Braun. Already the 3rd at bat for Braun. Closing in on 100 RBIs, getting close to 40 home runs.
Yeah, he's already hit more home runs than he hit in his MVP season last year. Hit 33 last year. He's done it all. Rookie of the Year in 07. MVP last year.
Had a great postseason last year, too. 2 homers, 7 doubles, hit .404.
Seemed like he was always hitting some big home runs for them, too.
Shoots a ground ball between Carlos Lee and the line. Braun around first. And he's going to get into second base with a double. 29th double for Braun. Time now for the Just for Men Keep Your Edge Spotlight. Norichika Aoki. See what he's done in the wins and the losses. He has given Milwaukee an edge. You keep your edge with Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Braun's double means Aramis Ramirez comes up. Milwaukee a 2-0 lead. Sounded like it hit him. It did. Sends Braun back to second and Ramirez down to first.
That's where you have to be careful. You don't want an inning like this to get away, especially after getting the first 2 outs.
Now that's a stat I'd like someone to explain. How does a team lead by that much in being hit by pitches? Breaking ball misses down low.
That's it.
And I can't.
I mean, you could throw out some theories,
but I can't turn to my partner Tommy Hutton because in his long major league career, Tommy Hutton was never hit by a pitch.
Good instincts and not a threat at the plate.
Keanu Reeves type reflexes.
Yeah, you know, you could throw out theories as to why maybe they've been hit so much. They got a lot of right-handed hitters. A lot of guys they got a lot of guys with power. We know that. They lead the league in home runs.
High fly ball, right field. Stanton is there, and he makes the catch. And Eovaldi leaves a couple of Brewers out there in the fifth. Halfway through in Miami, 2-0 Brewers. Are hoping to catch a ball in the home run porch. Experience Marlins baseball through a variety of affordable group packages. Marlins Park features air-conditioned comfort, great food options, and premium group entertainment. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/groups. The Fiesta Suites are busy tonight. Nice group out there. They have yet to see a Marlin run, though. Carlos Lee, Justin Ruggiano, and John Buck will do their best against Willie Peralta, who in his first major league start is throwing a 2-hit shutout.
One of the things you hope for second time around, and a few of the Marlins have been there, start to get a little better idea, a little better handle on what Peralta features. You look at his AAA numbers. He was in Nashville this year. He was 7-11. That great convenience store record.
That's a fair ball. You can see the chalk fly up, and Carlos Lee motors into second with a double.
And Peralta's ERA in AAA was 4.66. Well, this is great. We saw Braun hit one like this. This is why guys like this hit 300. Just reach out. First base umpire, Ed Hickox, is right there. All he does is turn, and he sees the ball bring up some chalk.
Now Ruggiano. Shoots a ground ball to the right side. Lee goes to third. Ruggiano moves the runner over. Now the Marlins will try to get him in with John Buck, and we check in with Craig Minervini.
Well, you saw the first pitch swinging there from Justin Ruggiano. That is something John Buck likes to do. In fact, of all the Marlins, he's #1 in swing percentage at the first pitch, a little over 32%. John told me, though, he has a plan. He sits on a pitch. He might be sitting on a breaking ball. He calls himself a pitch nerd, and he does a lot of prep. And if he's sitting on a breaking ball, he might take a fastball right down the pipe because he's sitting on that one pitch. But he thinks it serves him well. We'll see if he takes a hack here at the first one from Peralta, and he does.
He dumps it down the right field line. It's going to fall, base hit. And so Buck delivers a single just like that, Craig.
Yeah, what's funny about it is his father, he said, always got on him when he was a kid, don't swing at the first pitch, get comfortable. And he said last year his father ran into Jack McKeon, who was then managing the Marlins, in the lobby at a hotel on the road. And Jack also used to get on John for swinging at that first pitch. John says, I have a plan. And I said, well, maybe you're rebellious too. He said, yeah, maybe a little of that, with a chuckle. Guys?
I think a guy who we watch, and we've watched the last couple of years, who has a very good plan all the time, sometimes we do see him swing at the first pitch, is Greg Dobbs. Now, many times he doesn't, but a lot of times if he thinks that first pitch might be the best pitch he's going to get, then he jumps on it.
Donnie Murphy. Peralta misses away. It's bottom of the fifth. Eovaldi's gone 5. His spot due up next. That would be Austin Kearns.
You asked me last night, and we talked a little bit about this 6-man rotation thing. And here's where I have a problem. If you can have a 6-man rotation, you want to throw more than 85 pitches and go deeper than 5 innings. Correct? You would hope.
Correct. Now,
and that's the frustrating part about it, because all of a sudden you just create pitchers who go 85 to 100 pitches, 5 innings, maybe 6.
If the Marlins were up 4-0, though, there's a likelihood.
Possibly. And if nobody was on base, there's a possibility.
Well, there's Tom Kohler, and if he comes in the ball game, it would be his major league debut.
We've seen Tom Kohler the last couple of years in big league camp.
Willie Peralta has given up a run on a couple of hits. The double by Lee. Ruggiano moved Lee up, and Buck got him in with a base hit. Murphy takes in, and it's 3-2. That's one discussion. The other discussion is if Ozzy's managing this game in the American League, he probably doesn't have to worry about the score.
You try to get one more inning then out of Eovaldi.
Murphy swings and misses. And so Austin Kearns comes up. Maldonado goes out to talk to Peralta. And that means Eovaldi's night is done.
The other thing that's tough about doing it this way is that when you work with a 4-man bench, bingo, all of a sudden you've gotten Austin Kearns out of the way. And now you have a 3-man bench. Of course, then again, it's not quite the same feeling that Jim Tracy has with the Rockies.
That's right, where he's mandated to keep his pitchers at an 80 to 85 pitch count every night. So Kearns, who had a pinch hit last night and has had a very good year as a pinch hitter, and he takes away. Kearns 10 for 29 this year, a homer and 5 runs driven in. And it works out, as you see, to 345. Buck's still the runner at first. Peralta's first big league start. And up until this, the bottom of the fifth, things had gone quite well. Peralta's pitch count a little more manageable right now at 63.
Yeah, he's had a couple of 1, 2, 3 innings. He's had a couple of double plays help him out.
Well, Kearns has got himself in a great spot here. 3-1 with 2 outs and a runner at first. At the knees at 96 miles an hour. So the count's full. Buck will get a head start. He'll be on the move at first. Off he goes, and Peralta bounces it. A nice AB by Kearns, and that brings Peterson up. Runners first and second.
I think you have to have, or start having, a little concern if you're Ron Renicky or Rick Kranitz when your pitcher misses that badly on a 3-2 pitch.
So Peterson, a solid line drive base hit in the first, bounced to first in the third. Petey drives that ball right center field. Aoki is over, and he makes the catch. Miami's finally on the board, but they leave a couple and trail it 2-1. And just like that, we arrive in the top of the 6th inning. Rich Waltz, along with Tommy Hutton, Kendall Toyota, West Kendall Toyota, Wednesday night showdown. It's Milwaukee and Miami, Marlins Park in Miami. Last night, we saw A.J. Ramos make his Major League debut. And now Tom Kohler, the pride of Stony Brook University.
Yeah, born in the Bronx. And a guy that we've seen a lot the last couple of springs. He's got some action in spring training games. Had a just unbelievable season a couple of years ago in Double-A. He was 16-2 with a nice ERA. Last couple of years in Triple-A, he was a 12-game winner this year. talked to him a little bit before the game, and not knowing he was going to get into this game, and he said he would have liked to have finished a little better this year, but all in all, fairly solid.
Martin Maldonado, and Maldonado fouls a pitch back. Maldonado's lined out and singled. Kohler, with help from that 16-2 season, in 5 years in the minor leagues, has fashioned a record of 54-31 and an ERA of 3.74. Made 120 minor league starts. A good, sharp breaking ball there. 1-2.
Nothing tricky. Some sliders, curveball. Saw the fastball at 93. You know, he becomes a guy that you start to look at, Rich, and you think Ricky Nolasco in the minor leagues coming up with the Cubs.
Nolasco, when the Marlins acquired him in the Juan Pierre trade, his minor league resume had a very similar one-loss record. Went out of play. Ricky's a little gaudier, I believe. Although let's look it up, shall we? We got time. 54-31. That's Kohler.
And a 3.74 ERA.
In 120 starts.
You're going to go after Ricky? Or you want me to go after Ricky?
I'll go after Ricky.
Okay.
I'm on the Baseball Reference website right now. And Tom Kohler strikes out the first hitter he faces in his big league career. He'll have to get two more to equal Ramos's act of last night, but that's a good feeling.
And you have a little more, you have the veteran back there, John Buck. So John made sure he got the ball after he threw it around, got the ball, and then got another ball from home plate umpire Angel Hernandez and said, okay, I want to throw this one out.
Kohler now gets Carlos Gomez. Ricky Nolasco in the minor leagues. Very similar. Look out, the bat goes between Murphy and Reyes. Ricky was 43-22 in 112 starts with a 3.61 ERA.
Very similar.
Very similar.
Very similar. You know, and then all of a sudden you just start saying, you know, maybe not the sexiest of looks and stuff and the highest of ceilings and all that, but you know what? He kind of wins wherever he goes.
Ricky's record actually gets better if you subtract his trips to the minor leagues in terms of rehab, and he
had a few of those,
and he was sent down as well. Ricky had a year in 05 where he was 14-3. Very similar to Kohler's year. Pop-up, Solano's on the job, and he's there, and he makes the catch. So Kohler gets a couple of outs. And here comes Gene Segura.
The other thing about Kohler, you know, you can get some innings from him. 28 starts. He appeared once out of the bullpen this year, but over 150 innings.
So this is a good spot for him. Segura has lined out and bounced out.
Kind of a crazy ending, certainly due to the damage that Isaac did up in the New Orleans area, but a crazy ending for the team there. They were supposed to finish at home, and they had to pack up quickly and head to Round Rock, I think, is where they finished the season.
They had that awful 26-hour travel day.
Yeah.
And then they didn't win a game after that. One and two. Tom Kohler with a good breaking ball. Remember, Segura had that long at bat, which ended with a line drive out to right back in the 4th. Now that's a long at bat. If you connect the dots, 12 pitches. Another good pitch, and Tom Kohler in his major league debut goes 1, 2, 3 through the Brewers in the 6th. Good stuff from the rookie. We do it every night. They really have had to go a ways to get rookie backpacks for the bullpen with all these guys coming up. But you know what? The rookie's happy to wear it. I like the Justin Bieber one. That's a nice touch. They take out the gum and the seeds and the snacks out to the pen. JM Lexus resets the ball game here at Marlins Park in the bottom of the 6th. Ricky Weeks in the 3rd, a 2-run homer off the big green wall there in left field. John Buck, an RBI single, knocked home Carlos Lee. And so it's 2-1. Here's Solano with Jose Reyes, Giancarlo Stanton coming up in the 6th. And Willie Peralta making his major league's first start. He's pitched an inning in the big leagues this year, so not his major league debut, but his first big league start.
And in contrast, a guy like Peralta, his minor league numbers, 33 and 35 with an ERA at 3.99. We're talking about Tom Kohler and his numbers.
Solano swings and misses. Count 1-2. Brewers bullpen has been rather quiet. Marlins have already changed pitchers from Eovaldi to Kohler. Solano takes down. Peralta throwing hard at 98 miles an hour.
Pretty good, too, just at 71 pitches.
Right back at him. Solano lines out. All my sons moving and storage. Poll question. Are you in favor of expanding regular season rosters to 28 and scratching 3 before each game? Love it, like it, dislike it, hate it. Read today where the commissioner's panel has discussed, and it may well happen next year, The idea that we were talking about last night is that you can expand the rosters, but each night you get to turn in a lineup card with 27, 28 guys. Segura comes in and makes that catch. That's to prevent teams from going into games with 35, 37 players, especially teams that are in a pennant race. They're able to lean on their minor leagues for guys that make an impact in the pennant race that haven't been in the big leagues for 5 months and won't play in the postseason. Here's Giancarlo Stanton.
Not a bad idea. So to do that in September, correct?
Right, you can expand the rosters, but you can't use everybody every night. Now, Mike Scioscia, who's on that panel, brought up one scenario and said, when you make a change, you always have to look for loopholes. And the one thing that they would do, I think Scott Miller had a nice column on CBSSports.com on it. The one thing you would have to prevent teams from doing would be on a given night, you have to put your starting pitchers down on that lineup card. You can't not use those guys and put in a bunch of bullpen guys so that you have, a 15-man bullpen and just the one starting pitcher. Stanton, a 3-1 pitch coming his way. He didn't get a fastball. It was a backup breaking ball. He'll trot down to first, and here's Lee.
Yeah, I think the argument, but I agree with what the proposal is. The argument to that would be, well, then you're penalizing teams who have put together real nice minor league systems and have guys to bring up to help them get to postseason. That would be the argument.
How vociferously would you make that argument?
I wouldn't argue it because I kind of like the proposal.
Okay, good.
Because you're right. They have guys who are only going to be there for 30 days to impact a game that aren't even going to be eligible for postseason. That doesn't make sense.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Carlos Lee lines at left center field. Gomez covers a lot of ground, and he gets there in a hurry and makes the catch. Miami leaves Stanton out there to the 7th, 2-1. The 7th. Oh, AJ Speaks.
Hey, look at him.
And Kristen Hewitt. Kristen Hewitt and AJ Speaks, part of the Heat broadcast team on Sun Sports. AJ Speaks will be traveling with us.
He's going to be
tomorrow.
with us. Yeah. We'll put AJ to work in Washington, D.C. and Philadelphia.
Kristen produces Billy's Bunch. Willie Peralta up there. Peralta reaches out, sends one Stanton's way, and he's over there and makes the catch. Our producer, John Sulzer, is bailing on us this weekend. You know, I mean, it's like you're trying to get through September.
Yeah, you need all the help you can get. And bingo, he pulls the plug.
Norachika Aoki. Tom Kohler into his second inning in relief. That's a strike.
Nice, easy delivery. Lots of strikes from Tom Kohler. You ever been on the Stony Brook campus?
I have not been on the Stony Brook campus. Kohler misses down low to Aoki. The funny thing about Kohler, and it's usually the reverse, his college numbers, we talked about his gaudy numbers in the minor leagues. He was 17 and 19 with an ERA of close to 5 in college.
Those aluminum bats didn't suit well.
Or he's a guy that just has improved and gotten better. That's always a tough thing for a scout to figure out. Is a guy going to improve performance-wise?
Well, and the other thing, too, if you are a guy, you don't have overpowering stuff, and you're pitching at the collegiate or even at the high school level, there are hitters that will hit you with aluminum bats. And so that's what makes it hard for scouts. A little easier for scouts if the guy has swing and miss stuff.
Last couple of seasons in college baseball, the legislation that has changed and mandated a little stricter bat weight, and so the games aren't as explosive as they were from years past. There were College World Series games that were just ridiculous.
Here you had the 8 best college teams in Omaha, and you'd have slugfests.
Weeks up there now with a count 1-1. First time that Kohler has faced him. Runner goes, and Weeks hammers another one to left field. Peterson back. He did it again. Ricky Weeks loves the Clevelander. He's been there twice tonight.
No cover, no minimum for Ricky Weeks at the Clevelander.
No pool boy either. That one went straight to the right up in the bar area.
I'll tell you, they were both hit equally as well. Both pitches were up. And Ricky Weeks is quick and strong. Wow. That was near the bar.
Order up. Ryan Braun now. It's a 4-1 game. And Braun takes one at the knees.
6 times for Ricky Weeks. He's had more than 1 home run in a game.
The pride, or one of, not the pride of Lake Brantley High School. There have been some pretty good players out of there. Felipe Lopez, Jason Varitek, the Weeks brothers.
Weeks had a tremendous career in college. Talking about college baseball at Southern University. I think his career average was well over 400.
Golden Spikes Award winner. So 2 home runs for Weeks, 2 homers for the Brewers tonight. They hit 2 last night. Stanton comes in and makes the catch. Solano jogs by him. So 2 outs. Here comes Aramis Ramirez. The next Jiffy Lube Friday Night Live is coming up on the 14th. Marlins and Reds. The Reds are going to come in with an opportunity to go to the postseason, a great opportunity. They'll be counting the magic numbers at that point. West Plaza for a live concert with Grammy Award-winning salsa star Jerry Rivera, presented by Badia Spices.
They'll be coming in with a healthy Joey Votto, too, just off the disabled list.
People are asking what's Dusty Baker going to do with his lineup with Votto coming back in. Every manager should have that type of problem with too many bats and not enough spots in the lineup.
Oh, I think Dusty has it all figured out. Give Votto a chance to play a couple, 2-3 days in a row. Give him a day off. Let Frazier play first. Give Rolen a day off. Put Frazier third. And you know what? When you have an 8.5 game lead, you can kind of maneuver things that way.
So in that series, into right, that's a base hit from Aramis Ramirez. In that series, you expect a couple things. You expect the Reds to be counting down magic number, and you expect to see Jason Jackson here in his Reds cap.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see Jay Jackson.
He is a terrific baseball fan and a long-time Cincinnati Reds fan.
Talking earlier about the Cy Young Award, we mentioned Gio Gonzalez, certainly Johnny Cueto, the Reds, and R.A. Dickey. There are some who throw Aroldis Chapman's name. And Chapman is Chapman has 35 saves. He's thrown 66 innings, has given up just 30 hits, and has 117 strikeouts. That's one reason when you look at the Cincinnati Reds, you've got to like them in postseason. You get Chapman as hot as he's been, if he stays that hot during postseason. Get Matt Latos on a nice little roll. Cueto, Bronson Arroyo.
Who's the last Red to win a Cy Young Award?
Well, let's see. Gary Nolan.
Jose Rijo come close.
Jose Rio, yeah, that would be a good guess.
Corey Hart hits a bomb to left center field, and that one is gone. So Tom Kohler's given up a couple of 2-run homers here in the 7th inning. And Milwaukee has blown this one wide open.
Boy, after a nice 6th inning, nice 1-2-3 6th inning, all of a sudden that powerful Milwaukee lineup is caught up to Tom Kohler. Boy, number 27 for Corey Hart.
That one popped into center field. Ruggiano is there and he makes the catch. Corey Hart hits number 27. Ricky Weeks has hit 2, and it's 6-1. Ricky Weeks, his second. Corey Hart as well. Doing more on defense. This is the catch and tag by Weeks. He's hit a couple homers. He made a terrific play. Watch this. And holds on for a strike him out, throw him out, double play. Martin Maldonado behind the plate.
Hey, Ricky Weeks has had a heck of a game tonight. Offensively, defensively.
The other story here is Willie Peralta making his first big league start. And you were talking about guys that in the minor leagues pitch 5-6 innings, don't get that far extended into games. Well, here is Peralta pitching into the 7th.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons he's been able to get to the 7th inning, he's kept his pitch count down. Talked about it earlier. In his 28 starts this year in the minor leagues, only 5 times did he throw 100 pitches or more. Well, he's thrown just 81 tonight.
Ruggiano takes down low. Before we left you, I asked the question, when's the last time a Reds pitcher won the Cy Young?
And we've been pondering for a while.
And I couldn't remember one, and with good reason, because it doesn't look like a Cincinnati Reds pitcher has ever won the Cy Young. They were first given out in 1956, and they were singular back then.
It was a couple of years where you just had one Cy Young winner.
Actually, 10 years.
Oh, was it 10? I didn't know it was that long.
From 56 to 66. Koufax won 3 of them in that period. Drysdale won 1, Whitey Ford as well. And then they started in 67 to give out a Cy Young for each league. As Ruggiano walks, Hatcher in Miami's bullpen. But no Red has ever won a Cy Young award. It's amazing.
That's pretty amazing.
John Bucknell. Counts 0-1 to Buck. We've been talking about the last couple of nights guys making their major league debut. For Peralta, his first major league start. For A.J. Ramos and Tom Kohler, their major league debuts. I don't know if you've seen this, but it's been in the news the last few days, although it seems to have been around and gaining steam over the last month or so. Remember Adam Greenberg, the former Cubs outfielder, who in 2005 got called up from Double-A, and in a game against the Marlins at then probably Dolphin Stadium, was hit in the head by Valerio de los Santos.
If I'm not mistaken, his family was in the stands too.
And that was his only plate appearance in the big leagues. He never had an official at bat in the major leagues. The concussion, the vertigo that followed were not easy for him. In fact, his roommate the next year in Double-A is standing on first base, Justin Ruggiano, and there is a movement afoot to try to get Greenberg a major league at bat. Last 3 years he had been in the independent leagues after playing at the Double-A level for a few seasons. Buck fouls it out of play. But it's a tragic story in a sense that the young man was a prospect. He was 24 at the time, and he got hit by De Los Santos and never got back to the big leagues.
Over 2,200 minor league at bats,
and his minor league numbers aren't bad. His last year in Double-A, he had a pretty good year. I think that was when the Reds organization back in 08 or 09. Anyways, there's a movement afoot to get him an at-bat in the big leagues. He's 31 now. 3-2 pitch. Buck sends it into right center field. That's a base hit. Good read by Ruggiano. He's well around second and on his way to third. So Miami has runners at the corners. That might be the end of the road for Willie Peralta. Ron Renicky on the dugout step looking out, and he's going to come out and make the change. John Buck is over 200 with that base hit. He's 2 for 3 tonight. He is at 201. 6-1. Milwaukee on top. And Renicky points to the bullpen, and that's where he is headed. First big league start for Willie Peralta. He's all lined up for a win if his bullpen can hold it.
Perfect. That is perfect, yeah. Don't worry about the wind. You talking about the left or the right?
Right in the middle.
Oh, okay.
We could go right if you'd like, but Cameron Lowe takes over for Willie Peralta. Runners at the corners. I wanted to finish the Adam Greenberg story because if
it really is a good story.
If you're a local baseball fan, you get a chance to see him play because he's been invited to be part of the qualifying team for Team Israel, and it's their inaugural entry into the World Baseball Classic. They're going to play in a qualifier, which is up at Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter, a 14 qualifying tournament which begins on September 19th.
Aren't Brad Ausmus and Sean Green help coaching that team?
Yeah, Ausmus is going to manage.
Yeah.
Murphy now against Lowe. Milwaukee a 5-run lead. Greg Dobbs is on deck. Murphy takes a strike. So who knows? Maybe some organization will give Adam Greenberg that shot at his one major league at bat. Manny Parra in the bullpen. It's a foul tip, and it clipped. No, it actually hit Murphy. He's on his way to first base. Murphy didn't react as if it hit him in terms of I'm going to first base. He sort of just stepped out of the box and didn't go to first until he was told to go to first.
You could hear that it clipped something, and you could see his reaction that it got him.
It looked like that right arm. He made the I got hit face. But maybe that sold it with Angel Hernandez.
A little more of an I got hit face than Aramis Ramirez had last night.
That's right. So the bags are loaded. Here's Dobbs, and Miami is a swing away from getting back in this thing. Oh, 0-1 to Dobbs. Ruggiano, Buck, and Murphy out there. The Brewers infield on the right side, playing for two. Dobbs, a ground ball up the middle. Segura knocks it down, and everybody is safe. Dobbs has himself an RBI infield hit.
Dobbs again coming through with less than 2 out. A man at third. In this case, bases were loaded, and getting the run in. Shatters the bat right off the end of the bat. You can see pieces flying. They're shading him up the middle. The shortstop, Segura, up the middle. He actually fields the ball or knocks it down on the second base side of the bag.
You know, I saw it initially, but I wasn't sure until I saw the replay. Did you see Carlos Gomez out there in center field take a face plant on that play?
I did not.
Oh,
I was watching.
All right.
Yeah, I want to though now.
All right, we're gonna back it up now. Watch him in center field.
He's trying to come in to back up the play. Right now, he's wondering. I wonder if anybody saw that.
I know. He's just glad that the ball wasn't hit to him. Line to the left field. That's a base hit. Peterson delivers. Another run across. Murphy stops at third. Bags are still loaded. This has been a nightmare for Ron Roenicke. His bullpen has had such trouble holding leads this year. John Buck comes across. 2 run-scoring hits, Dobbs and now Peterson, and here is Solano.
Yeah, Roenicke's saying right now, I've lived this nightmare way too many times this year. So he sends Rick Kranitz out. The really interesting thing, and I was wondering if he was going to do it. He had Manny Parra, the left-hander, warming up, knowing that he was going to have back-to-back lefties in Dobbs and Peterson. But Cameron Lowe is a guy that usually gives him an inning, maybe more, and he stuck with the right-hander. And Parra, now with all righties coming up, you wouldn't even have him warming up. He may sit down.
I think that's in fact what's going to happen here. Solano is 0 for 3. There's nobody out. And important certainly for Miami to add another run or two here. You got bases loaded and nobody out, with Reyes and Stanton behind Solano. Infield's back for 2. Even at third is Ramirez. Solano takes a strike. Oh, 1. Ball and a strike. A walk, single, hit batter, 2 more singles. And the 6-1 game has gone to 6-3. Marlins trying to tack on a few more. The 1-1 pitch. That one almost hit Solano.
Hey, the pinch hit single to Greg Dobbs, his 10th pinch hit of the year, and we talked about it the other night. Austin Kearns has 10 pinch hits on the season.
Now the 2-1. Solano, a line drive and a base hit. Murphy will score. Dobbs around third, coming home. Now he stops. Caught between second and third is Peterson. Dobbs hangs on to the bag, and Peterson is tagged out. Solano is still at first. It's 6-4. It looked like Joe Espada had sent Dobbs, and Peterson around second looked up, saw that, and was headed towards third. Let's take a look.
Part. Joe Espada, watch where Joe is and where he goes. He goes all the way down there, then he holds Dobbs, but that's a tough call for Brian Peterson because he didn't see the stop sign until he was halfway to third. That's a tough call.
The timing of it was almost as if he had already waved Dobbs, and
when he was waving Dobbs at one point, Peterson was around second base.
Yes.
Then he put the stop sign. This will show it a little better. If he can stop him. There he's waving, and Peterson's around second. Now the stop sign, and look at Petey's halfway to third. So that's a tough call on Peterson's part to put any blame on his shoulders. And there's really nothing for Dobbs to do either.
Well, the Brewers are going to change pitchers. 6-4 now with one out in the seventh. Here in the bottom of the seventh, the Marlins with a base running miscue at the corners. Dobbs is at third. Solano is at first, with Peterson being tagged out. 3 runs across. And the Brewers' next out of the bullpen is Jim Henderson.
Yeah, the Marlins saw Henderson for an inning last night. Yeah, that's the only out of the inning so far. The out recorded at third base. Been a hit batter, a walk, 3 base hits.
Infield looking for a ground ball. Solano away from first. Henderson to the plate. Reyes takes outside. Reyes and then Stanton. 1-0 pitch, flip down the left field line. Braun is over, he's there, and he makes the catch, tagging his Dobbs, and he will score. Solano back to first, and just like that, it is a 6-5 ball game. Reyes delivers a sacrifice fly.
Nice swing by Jose Reyes. He thought the ball maybe was going to slice foul, but it was good enough for a sac fly, making it a one-run game all of a sudden. And it was caught in fair territory. Good job by Dobbs. He goes back alertly.
Stanton now takes a rip. A shallow fly ball. Aoki is there and makes the catch, but Miami gets right back in it with 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th. 6-5 Milwaukee. Talking about that play at third base. 6-5. Milwaukee's on top.
There are things that happen. I understand why Joe goes as far down the line to take as long a time, but then sometimes that confuses the runner coming around second base, which we saw it happen.
Greg Dobbs going to stay in the ball game.
Yeah, a couple of changes. Dobbs at third. You saw Murphy. Donnie Murphy goes from third over to second. Donovan Solano comes out of the game, and Heath Bell comes in the game. He'll be placed in the Solano spot in the batting order.
This is a ball game that was a Nathan Eovaldi start. And Eovaldi lasted 5 innings, gave up 2 runs. Tom Kohler came in, made his major league debut, had a good first inning, not so much the second. He gave up 2 2-run homers his second inning and is charged with 4 runs total. And now Bell, Gomez, who took the pratfall on that Dobbs single, swings right out from under his helmet. Oh, 2. Brewers still on top, but this certainly a different feel, especially after that Corey Hart home run. Swing and a miss. Bell gets a strikeout. Buck digs it out. Fires down to Lee to get Gomez. So here in the 8th, there's an out. Now between innings, sometimes players come in and flip balls to fans. And a lot of times you're flipping it for a little kid, right? Well, the little girl gets boxed out. And look at the face.
Oh, is Craig? We're going to get Craig to get her a ball.
That's right. Fly ball right field. Stanton going back. And he makes the catch. You'll remember one of the more infamous moments of Marlins television.
Dodger Stadium.
Dodger Stadium. And the highlight of the father holding his daughter, which was about the same age, and the player flipped the ball, and the dad lost his mind, dropped his daughter next to him in the seat next to him, and then promptly dropped the ball, and his daughter, embarrassed, not only that dad dropped her, but also dropped the ball. And Craig saved the day by getting a ball and giving it to the girl and making everyone's night a good night.
We got to try to make that happen tonight. Is that down just beyond the Brewer dugout?
Yeah, it's down. It's Brewer dugout. So she is sitting in that section behind the Brewers dugout.
You're tugging on my heartstring here.
You do it. This is right up your alley, Craig.
I'm gonna have to. I'll go down to Silver, see if we can get a nice new baseball.
We've got a locator. We'll work on locating her. You get the ball.
You got it.
Okay.
That's why sports on television is a team sport. Ishikawa's up there right now, and he takes down low. Ishikawa hitting in the pitcher spot. There she is. And so, look, she's running out of steam. That was her shot at getting a ball.
Yeah, she's
Mom
getting
says,
a little
sit still.
A little nervous. Yeah.
We need Craig to get that ball over there pronto. Two and two with 2 outs. Well, the Brewers have had such trouble holding leads. They have more blown saves than anybody in the National League. Milwaukee with a 1-run lead here in the 8th. And Bell just blows away Ishikawa. Bell's look sharp. A 9-pitch 8th inning. Good work by Bell. Marlins down a run. I mean, between innings, she's doing everything she can do.
She's trying to get a T-shirt, a ball, anything.
Anybody, please. Just a ball. Even the ball they throw around the infield. Look at Mom says, get that guy's attention. I don't think K-Rod's going to throw her a ball. He looked sharp last night. Came into the ball game for the Brewers. Francisco Rodriguez will get the 8th inning here. He's not had the best of seasons. 66th appearance. His ERA over 5. But he has had company in terms of struggling in that bullpen. And she's still standing and waiting and hoping. Carlos Lee, first pitch swinging, fly ball center field.
Oh, nice going.
They beat Craig to the punch.
Look at Bader Knight.
That's sweet.
Now, who was that gave her the ball?
If I had to guess, maybe Rick Kranitz. Look at that. Mom says, you're on television.
Yeah, everybody's calling Mom right now and saying you've been on TV the last inning and a half.
Ruggiano up there, the 0-1 pitch. Fastball misses away. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
But a nice storybook ending.
Yeah,
that's good.
That was nice.
What, she got the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what, Craig? You go down there and talk to her because
that's funny.
She really had to work hard for it.
Okay. So I just got one, but you know how far we have to walk to this way, that way, down the hallway.
It'll be worth it.
Where is she?
Ruggiano pops one foul and out of play. Francisco Rodriguez in for the Brewers in the bottom of the 8th. Milwaukee's 6-5 lead. Fish have seen Cameron Lowe and Jim Henderson. Lowe 1/3 of an inning. Henderson 2/3 of an inning. They piecemealed the 7th. Beginning for the Fish, they got 4 runs. Ruggiano good at bat here. Fouls it back to the screen. And of course, in that inning, the Marlins had a runner caught between 2nd and 3rd on a mix-up with Joe Espada, Greg Dobbs, and Brian Peterson.
Craig's getting close.
The 2-2. Ruggiano fouls off another pitch.
He's giving K-Rod a good battle. Ruggiano's had obviously not a whole lot of games. 8 games in his career against the Brewers, but he's hit the Brewers really well.
He's actually swung the bat well tonight. He lined out to left. Remember, he moved the runner from 2nd to 3rd with nobody out back in the 5th, and then he walked and scored in the 7th. And he doesn't bite on the changeup. Three and 2. John Buck, who has 2 hits, is on deck. That was a better changeup, and he struck him out. Ruggiano tossed the bat. He thought it was ball 4. Either he didn't hear Angel Hernandez, or he just flat thought it was ball 4. Looked like a pretty good pitch. Yeah, that's right down the middle.
Yep, middle of the plate, wasn't high.
He must not have heard, because at some point you're going to hear strike 3. Buck takes a breaking ball for a strike. Another good changeup. Marlins Live, presented by Checkers. That's after the ball game. Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini. Highlights from this one. Milwaukee had a big 6-1 lead. The Marlins have come within one. 0-2. Rodriguez throwing that changeup a lot tonight.
Gio Gonzalez on his way to win number 18.
It seems like right now they're lined up in a pitch on the same day, Dickey and Gio. Dickey got win number 18, and Gio was about to match him. Ramirez across the diamond, and K-Rod turning back his old form. Now we'll get the full story with Craig over there. On Fox and TBS. It all starts on October 5th, the wild card game on TBS. 6-5 Brewers. Ninth inning has rolled around. Let's go down to Craig Minervini. Craig?
All right, Rich. Emily Martin is a fourth grader, and you've come to a lot of baseball games, right?
Uh-huh.
And what was your dream?
Well, my dream was to get a ball, but I would cry at the end because I never got one, and I would ask every single day.
Now, tonight, it looked like you were going to get a ball until some rude guy put his hand in front and stole the baseball. Is that what happened?
Yes, that's what happened.
And you weren't very happy.
No, I got upset.
What, she was upset?
She's very upset. She comes to all the games hoping to get a ball every time, and if she doesn't, she cries all the way home.
But this one has a happy ending. Yeah, show the camera. Pick those up. You got two.
Yes, I do.
How'd that happen?
Well, because the guy gave me one ball, and then a girl came and gave me an official ball.
So that's a happy ending here in the ninth. It pays to stay for all 9 innings, right, Mom?
Yes, it does.
Congratulations, Emily.
Thank you very much. I love you, World.
It's a big night.
There you go.
Nice work, Craig. That's a really nice finish to the young girl's saga. Watching her tonight try to get a ball. She tried everything she could do, and as it turns out, she got two. Mike Dunn out of the bullpen, following up a very nice inning by Heath Bell. Dunn gets the 9th.
He gets the same batter he faced last night in the 7th, and that was when Aoki hit an RBI double off Mike Dunn.
Did you see the note? We were wondering, because the oddity about last night is that both the winning pitcher and the losing pitcher threw just 2 pitches in the game, Cameron Lowe and Mike Dunn. And so our friends at Stats Inc. went back to see the last time that happened. I'm trying to find the.
I think the note said that the last time it happened was never.
Right. Well, but their records went back to, was it 1980?
However far their records went back, yeah.
Aoki swings and misses, and Dunn gets him tonight.
Now with right-handers coming up, Ozzy's going to make that move. I think if you went back further, though, the odds are slimmer than it would happen because you didn't have as many pitching changes.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So that may have been the only time in baseball history that it ever happened last night. Here is Ryan Webb. Here in the ninth, Ricky Weeks arrives at the plate, and that's not a pretty thing. He had a 2-run homer in the third against Nathan Eovaldi. This the at-bat, pitch by pitch in the seventh against Tom Kohler.
A slider for a strike. Off the plate. And then the fastball looked like a fastball, middle of the plate. And the two fastballs that he hit were, boy, middle of the plate, and he hit both of them hard.
So a pair of 2-run homers, 16 on the season now for Weeks.
A couple of years ago, Ricky Weeks had 29 home runs, 2010. So Webb gets the righties.
And Webb is not a guy that gives up a lot of home runs. He's given up only 2. That's a roller to third. Remember, that's Dobbs over there now, and his throw eats up El Caballo, rolls down the right field line, and Weeks ends up at second base.
Yeah, it's going to be a throwing error on Greg Dobbs. He gave Carlos Lee that tougher hop, the more in-between hop. Would have been a close play. Just didn't get enough on it. And they kind of got that seam right about where a little bit in front of the seam, and then came up on Carlos Lee a little bit.
Even the best of first basemen,
that's a tough one.
Won't make that if it kicks that high. And Miami's going to put Ryan Braun aboard and pitch to Aramis Ramirez, who's no bargain tonight. He's 2 for 3, and he's only driven in 89 runs this year and leads the National League in doubles. Well, Jonathan Lucroy is on deck.
That's interesting. I thought that maybe we'd see him hit for Maldonado, but that tells me something's wrong with Aramis Ramirez. You're not going to pinch hit for Ramirez here.
He did not come out in a double switch.
No, because Ishikawa made the last out and he was hitting in the 9th spot.
So Lucroy hits for Ramirez. We'll try to get a report on Aramis Ramirez if we can. First and second, one out. Webb looking for that ground ball. Corey Hart's on deck. One and 0 to Lucroy. Lucroy, the great start, broken finger, still has nice numbers. Though the time he was hurt, he was headed in the direction of the All-Star team. He was going that well.
Yeah, he would have been an all-star catcher. Pretty good list of all-star catchers this year.
There's the roller. Murphy gets it out there. Reyes holds on. Good slide at second by Ryan Braun. And he pats Reyes on his way back. You know, even the superstar players do the little things. And Ryan Braun just did in not taking out, but preventing Reyes from turning that double play.
There's a lot of things that Ryan Braun does well. Running the bases. He runs hard. He's become a good left fielder. Just enough. And a couple of professionals out there, they understand that.
Now Corey Hart, he followed up Weeks' two-run homer in the 7th with one of his own. And at that point, it looked like a Brewer blowout. But the Marlins got 4 runs back in the bottom of the inning. That was the 7th. We showed you Weeks' home run. This is the Corey Hart home run, the Warren Henry drive of the game.
And that one right now, the big difference in this game.
Hart takes a strike.
A couple of real good fastballs from Ryan Webb. 96 on that last one.
Don't tell the Brewers that this is a hard place to hit home runs. They've hit 6 in the series. One-two pitch coming. 2-2. But the Nationals have a 9-0 lead over the Cubs. Gio Gonzalez went 7 innings, 3 hits, 9 strikeouts, no walks.
Gio coming off that complete game shutout he had last time out.
He's making a nice statement.
Yeah.
Corey Hart down the left field line, and that's a fair ball. Weeks will score. Lucroy to third, and he's coming home, and he'll score. And Milwaukee gets 2. Corey Hart has driven in 4. I don't know if Miami was surprised that Lucroy came home, but he scored all the way from first.
Tell you what, this wasn't a bad slider either. He was down, maybe had a little bit too much of the plate. But all of a sudden, Lucroy turned it on. and was waved home by third base coach Ed Cedar, and really scored easily.
So all the work Miami did to get within a run, now it's back to a 3-run game, and Martin Maldonado hits a fly ball to right. Stanton is there, and he makes the catch. And now the Brewers, with a 3-run lead, go to the bottom of the 9th. Florida. It's brought to you by Kendall Toyota and West Kendall Toyota, bringing you tonight's Wednesday night showdown by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible, and by Checkers, feast on. Been a messy game for Miami tonight. 8-5, Milwaukee on top. The Brewers have Jeff Bianchi. Yes, that's how you pronounce it, Bianchi, at third base. And John Axford looking for save number 25.
Yeah, Axford came in and picked up the save number 24 last night.
You can see the issues that he's had, 8 blown saves.
I was just thinking with Bianchi, we could come up with a list of players whose names maybe don't look like they sound. We'd have Matt Diaz on that team.
That's very good.
Bianchi.
Anibal Sanchez.
Anibal.
Murphy takes a strike. Now Axford last night finished the ball game. Brewers last night used 5 relievers, and with Axford coming into this ball game, he becomes the 4th reliever. This is still lined up to be a win for Willie Peralta in his first major league start. He's had to wait it out though. It was 6-1. Miami got to 6-5. It's now 8-5. Murphy lifts a fly ball to right center field. Aoki, with Gomez coming on, makes the catch. Our next telecast is Friday night in Washington, D.C.
Jacob Turner and Steven Strasburg.
Marlins will see Ross Detweiler. Mark Burley, Ross Detweiler matchup on Saturday. Saturday is a no television game. Ricky Nolasco, Edwin Jackson on Sunday. I had to check on that because as I was reading the pitching matchups, it says right there in the notes, Fox Sports Florida telecast. I thought for a moment they've replaced us.
And didn't tell us.
But no television on Saturday. Dobbs a liner to left. Broad is there and he makes the catch. And so Greg Dobbs lines out. Axford is an out away from his second save of the series. And here comes Brian Peterson. Peterson with a couple of hits, one that drove in the run in the 7th inning.
Been a nice game for Petey. He's had a couple of hits, swung the bat well.
West Coast games just getting going in San Francisco. The Diamondbacks and the Giants. In Los Angeles, the Padres and the Dodgers. Yankees have a 2-run lead in the 9th over in St. Pete over the Rays. Baltimore lost to Toronto 6-4, so Baltimore's stay in first place might be short-lived.
I was reading where it looks like the season might be over for Chad Billingsley.
Yes, 60-day disabled list today.
You know, you kind of had that feeling in that game. That last game he pitched was against the Marlins at Dodger Stadium.
Peterson takes low and inside. Axford loses him. Solano is next up. Miami just trying to get the tying run to the plate. Mike Minor was outstanding tonight. He gave up 1 hit over 7 innings. And the Braves beat the Rockies by a score of 1-0. 7 strikeouts, 109 pitches for Minor. Rob Brantley did the assignment instead of Solano. Peterson just took second. Axford a fastball, and Brantley fouls it off. Now the count 0-2. This has not been a great homestand for the Fish, to say the least. They have won just 2 of 7. Axford trying to make it 2 of 8. Brantley trying to keep the night alive. He fouls it back to the screen. To the 23-year-old out of Southern California. Just adding to the Marlins Southern California connection. Peterson, an LA guy as well. Pitch in. It's 1-2. Get Ricky Nolasco, Giancarlo Stanton,
Greg Dobbs.
when he was up, Brett Hayes. Johnny Murphy. Big breaking ball, and it didn't come far enough for Angel Hernandez. You can see where it missed, and it's 2-2. Stanton would love to get an opportunity to use that bat. You got Reyes on deck. Brantley trying to reach and get the tying run to the plate. Maldonado trying to build the drama. He decides to go out to the mound. So Atlanta won. The Nationals have won. 9-1 is the final there. Chris Volstad got the loss. Volstad now 2-10 with an ERA of 6.23. Gio Gonzalez 18-7, and the ERA is under 3 now, 2.98. 2-2 coming to Brantley. That one, wow, was a better pitch than the 5th pitch that was up. But not quite in the strike zone.
A little bit high. Angel all over that one.
Now we'll see if the kid gets a fastball here at 3-2.
Why would you even do that? With a 3-run lead. You know, maybe if it was a 1-run game. Sometimes you see some strange things.
Three-2. Fastball foul back. We talked earlier about that, the commissioners panel talking about September rosters and how to adjust them, legislate them. There's also talk about eliminating the step towards third, spin and throw to first move, and that move there, where you take a step towards second and do not throw.
I do not have a problem with the elimination of that.
Rubber stamp that one.
Yeah.
I think we get bipartisan support. Here's 3-2 again. And that one popped down the third base side. Bianchi for a look.
I don't know if we'll need lobbyists for it. But we'll check in Washington, D.C. when we're there this weekend.
Yeah, well, there'll be the pitchers union will get involved. The base runners guild. The Loyal Order of Base Coaches.
It'll then be sent to the agents.
Peterson still out there. Axford battling with the rookie Rob Brantley, who's pinch hitting for Donovan Solano. Another 3-2. Another foul ball. Been feeding him high fastballs. As you watch Maldonado set up, he hasn't been asking for high fastballs. He's been trying to get one down low.
Yeah, Axford's just leaving him up there.
So another 3-2. 10th pitch of the at-bat. Brantley is still alive.
It's giving him a good battle.
Now that he's thrown what seems like 4 or 5 consecutive high fastballs, would he go back to the breaking ball?
I mean, he might, but I think if he feels he would really have trouble throwing it for a strike, I don't think he would. But when you throw 97 and 96, you would expect, and if you're a hitter, you certainly have to be ready for the fastball. If he throws a really good breaking ball, then he'll probably get Rob Brantley as he would most hitters.
That one is in play. Segura with Braun, and Braun makes the catch, and the Brewers have won their second game of this series, their second game in a row. Axford's second save in a row. He saved last night's ball game, and he nails down an 8-5 win for the Brewers here tonight. He gets our Dunkin' Donuts save of the game. Wednesday night showdown final box score presented by Kendall and West Kendall Toyota. 8 runs, 10 hits for Milwaukee, 5 runs, 8 hits, and an error for the Fish.